Greetings and salutations, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this. I'm your host, Nick the Slick Johnson, joined by
Jake Snyder, the man who will make your day brighter, Snyder.
Yes, indeed, folks. And again, welcome, because we are doing another directors / filmmakers commentary / watch along for our newest film, The Otherly, a Halloween special. We can't wait to go through it with you guys. We had a blast making it, man. Like it was such a journey. It was very fun, very fulfilling after it was all done. Bars.
Yeah.
That was not planned.
Yeah, but the we were really proud of this one. Just on a personal level, we've never really done a lot of the things that we did in this little video before, like, you know, working with outside VFX artists to just make backgrounds for us. And we'll get into more of it as we watch along, but when all is said and done, we are really proud of it, and we're just going to watch through it and break down how it was made and what everything means.
Shall we?
Without further ado, Nick, let's play.
Hiya.
Do you hear that?
You hear what? It sounds like voices, but different.
For those of y'all who don't know, that is actually Jake and I on screen. Low key, bro, there's nothing there.
Shame. We almost had him. Indeed.
One thing immediately in this little recap that I'm just going to point out. Last year when we made Do You Hear It, the first Halloween special of 2022, we, just from a personal experience level, I hadn't really done too much audio work before, or at least not to the extent that we ended up going for The Otherly. We ended up playing with, you know, left and right channels and EQs and pitching and just trying to make everything not overlap. So there's always like a sense of visual clarity to everything. And that was something, the sound design, you and I spent weeks on this little 5-minute, 7-second video, just trying to make sure the audio was a step up from what we've done before. And the reason I bring this up now is because when we did this like recap at the beginning, I ended up having to go back and just rework some of the audio from last year's version because it was just so, you couldn't really tell what was being said by the Otherly. It was just messy. Yeah. So if you watch it back to back, the original and this recap, like the audio is just, in my opinion, it's a lot better.
Yeah. And I remember with the first one, we didn't want it necessarily to be messy, but we wanted it to be kind of otherworldly a little bit. You know what I mean? Like we wanted it to sound very inhuman, very kind of like, I guess, like cosmically terrifying. And, you know, we're trying to do something different. We're young filmmakers. Exactly. We're playing around with it, trying to see what works, what doesn't. But yeah, so we did that with that one. And then like Jake was saying for this one, he went back and he kind of just like streamlined it a little bit more.
Yeah, just cleaned it up. Try to keep those qualities, but also trying to make sure like people can hear more or less like what is being said. Because like if you have no idea, the effect is lost.
Yeah.
So
they did that same thing with Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. You remember that?
That's right. Yeah, they had to clean him up after like the trailer backlash or something.
I feel like they should have left it.
but anyway, let's continue on.
Yeah. My fiance made that logo, y'all. Shout out. This part was us. She does not get a shout out for that.
One other thing I do want to point out before we get too deep into this is like the use of repeating shots that we used. And it started out, I won't say unintentional, but the longer we shot for, I think the more we started to incorporate reusing shots from Who Are You? Because the point or the purpose of this video was to kind of create a connection between all of our videos. And so one thing that I really like to do is there are certain moments in Who Are You like visually that always stood out to me. Like the mirror scene when you're leaning in out of focus into the mirror, like looking at yourself like that. We took that one. Just the a lot of the close-ups of the eyes and like you sleeping and waking up. It was just like there is a connection here. We don't want to put it in straight in your face, but like they're there.
Yeah.
If you watch it, if you like kind of take note of everything.
Yeah.
Just a little something I wanted to just get out there and say.
Oh yeah, this was a really fun one.
Yeah.
Because of like while we were making this, like, oh, we can't actually just connect it to like everything. And it was like, we had the initial idea for this. And as we were like kind of filming it and completing it, it was like, you know, we can actually put like a little something here that ties in with Who Are You, and a little something here that ties in with this and with that. And that's why this one took so long. When did we start working on this? Like a year ago or something?
Yeah, we originally had the idea for this last November of 2022. Like, I think it was Black Friday or the day after Black Friday.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was when we first had the idea to do this, and we started working on it in January. So it took, I'm not going to say it took like 10 straight months to make, but we were working on this in some way, shape, or form pretty much all the time during that 10-month period.
Yeah. And there was some other stuff kind of just, you know, life happened. So it kind of created a little bit of
challenge.
Yeah. A couple of pauses in production, but you know, that's life. You just got to roll with it.
And another one of those pauses that we took while making this video was to film our follow-up short film. So thankfully, it's not all bad and like, you know, hiatuses or anything. It's
exactly. Yeah. We wasn't just being lazy. It was just, we was doing the most, but in a productive way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get back to it.
This hallway's always dark. Like every time we film here. It's intentional, but it's just like, dang, like these characters just live in a dark house.
I think it's just this hallway looks the best when it's dark.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice get up.
Some trivia for y'all. That is actually not a nice getup. Just in case y'all couldn't tell. Hey, I wasn't wearing this yesterday.
Okay, I woke up in different clothes too.
I'm on trivia. I actually was wearing this yesterday.
No, yeah, like a majority, kind of same situation that we had with Who Are You, but a little bit more complex for the otherly. We ended up ADRing a majority of our lines in this video.
That was tough for this one, man.
That was really tough because for Who Are You, there's only like one scene with dialogue with spoken word.
Who Are You was 10 minutes of a short film with 3 lines. With this one, it's like, well, I have to not only say exactly what I said in the footage, but I have to say it exactly how I said it, like the right speed, the right what's the word? Inflection?
Inclination, intonation.
Intonation, yeah. So he's like, yeah, I wasn't wearing this yesterday. When I tell you that was like 85 fucking takes, man. Part of my language, excuse me, but it was like, it spent like 2 hours on that one alone, man.
No, yeah, like it was so hard. And like, you know, this isn't anything new. You know, ADR has been going on forever. And we've always heard, or at least I'll speak for myself, I've always heard it's not like the greatest thing, but it's a good backup.
The best ADR is when you can't tell. Like the best ADR should be invisible.
Exactly. And I would be interested to see how many watchers could tell this is ADR, because this is by no means masterful ADR. Like this line right here, where I'm just standing up like, I woke up in something else too, or somewhat whatever. Like I spent so long trying to make that sound right, because like all the words are the right speed and like the intonation is kind of right. It's not wrong, but something about it like never felt right. Even upon release, I was like, I think this is the best I could do.
Oh, it's tough. Also, what it could also be is just the fact that you're aware of the fact that you're doing ADR. So it might just be like no one else can tell, but I can tell, and my brain is just not letting me get past that.
Yeah, my brain will always see it, will always hear it no matter what, you know? Yeah.
Hopefully that's what it is. Hopefully you guys only knew that we did ADR because we told y'all.
Right.
This shit was tough. It was fun though, but like, yeah, like next project, let's just vocally get everything perfect and then we don't have to do ADR for those things.
Unfortunately, we've already filmed like 33% of The Lost Place without audio.
Okay, so that other 67% is gonna have to be perfect.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pick up the slack on that other 2/3. But okay.
Yeah, we got this.
What happened last night?
I don't know, man. I think there was a red light, and I feel like I might have been here at the house too. It felt like I was here for years.
That was ADR.
And I think there might have been someone else.
Actually, just a little shout out.
Did I pause?
Yeah, pause it. Just a little shout out I want to give to Nick for this one. I think this is, and Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, outside of HEADCANON. What we just saw with the flashes, where, you know, Nick's character is like trying to remember what happened to him. I believe that was the first time in one of our short films where Undawning Vision, where you like took over the editing seat, because like I was having trouble trying to get those flashes in. Like Nick was telling me his vision, his idea for it, and like I could see it in my head, but I was just having so much trouble like getting the timing down. So I gave it over to Nick, and he came back, I don't know, the next day, sometime later, and he had put these flashes in, and I don't like, they were something about, I think they're only like 8 frames or less per flash. But there's something about like the timing of when they come in that I really, really liked. And pretty much as soon as Nick started working on that, he followed the rest of the whole editing. Like, I guess you followed the rest of the editing. You were there the whole rest of the time.
Well, first off, thank you for saying that. But as far as like the whole editing thing, I just feel like is very fascinating to me, because that's kind of, in a lot of ways, I feel like that's like the final nail in the coffin, so to speak. Like that's what helps perfect the story. That's what really tells the story. And those particular like cuts, I got that idea from Nolan, actually, from Inception, from The Dark Knight, because it was that scene where Elliot Page was having the conversation with Leo DiCaprio about what happened to your wife, what happened to Marlon, like blah, 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 blah. And Nolan did this, he had flashbacks, but it wasn't any audio in the flashbacks, but you heard the present day conversation between Leonardo DiCaprio and Elliot Page's character. And I just liked how that kind of looked and sounded. Like I liked how that meshed together, the flashback with the present day conversation. I just thought that looked cool. And then in Dark Knight Rises, that scene where I'm pretty sure it was at the beginning when Commissioner Gordon is like giving his speech, or he's about to give his speech at Wayne Manor, and he's like, I think I'm about to snitch on Harvey Dent. And then it was like those quick flashes to the end of The Dark Knight. And those were just, I liked how he did that, because it was just really quick, and it's quick enough to see. And like, it actually just really felt like a flash of a memory, you know what I mean? So I was like, I wanted to do that with this. And then even with, oh no, I'm not going to say that for those of you that haven't seen this movie. I was about to say something big, but it is an older movie. It came out like 1995. I'll say this. It was something similar happened in the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, and directed by David Fincher. It was some editing like that. So when we were like having conversations about this, and when we were like filming it and everything like that, it was like, him remembering that stuff just visually, that could be cool. It would just add a little bit of spice to it or something like that. So I just want to have some fun with that, put it in like that. And then after that, yeah, I'm like, no, I kind of want to see, I definitely want to be more involved in the editing process.
Yeah. And I think you being there in the whole post-production process really elevated it, because it was just like another cook in the kitchen, another voice, another perspective to have. And I think that really just added a lot, like the spice. Like it just made it so much more,
a little bit of seasoning on it.
so much more dynamic, so much more in depth, because like every decision I made ran past you, and if it didn't get past you, it would come back and it would just get better. So it was a really good process for this one.
It's always good to collaborate.
Do you
Yeah, it really is.
remember a red room?
This was actually not filmed on location, y'all. This was the Jake had mentioned earlier where we had like outsourced it.
You know what? Yeah, this is actually an interesting story of how we even got to these effects. Originally, so way back in January when we were writing out and picturing this short film, it wasn't even a short film. It was just like, here's a little like 3-5 minute skit.
It was gonna be like a little in between.
Yeah, a little like prologue for our next short film, The Lost Place. And we were acting under that notion for like a good 2-3 months.
Yeah.
We would just film in my room like every weekend to get, all the normal daytime shots. And then one weekend, literally for like 4 or 5 hours, one Sunday, I think, we went to one of those white cycloramic rooms. And the idea was originally the red room was just going to be, we were going to in post turn the white to red, and it was just going to look like we're in this abyss of red. And, like we were good with that for a while, and we were editing it and like we were going to do that and doing all the effects with the cloaks for the otherly, which we haven't got to yet. I guess we can get into that when they show up. But I don't remember when we made this decision, maybe around April, I would assume April, May, but we decided, why stop there?
It was like, why stop there? Cause also just outside of that, like we had recognized like, every video that we do, we keep spending more and more time on it because we keep trying to perfect it basically, and we keep trying to obviously do our best and improve from the last one. So when this came up, it was let's just make it a red abyss, that way it can be abstract and ambiguous with it and like da. But then I think we were talking a little bit more about the nature of the otherly and the giants, and like, okay, if it's like giants here, what kind of environment would this be? And and it was like da. And then it just kind of like naturally evolved. And I remember like, I think one of the reasons we went with like red, it was either we went with red because of this or like it just reminded me of it. But like that, I don't know if you remember that Hellboy opening sequence with it was the first Hellboy movie where it's just the titles, but you're in like a red kind of like cathedral or church, and it looks like hellish, and you're getting like the flashes of like newspaper clippings and historical documents, and it's all it's all about Hellboy, and it's just giving you the exposition on him. But one of the ideas was, let's do something like that, not to make it look like hell, but to make it look scary, foreboding, uninviting, ominous, just threatening even. And with all of that said, that's not even the objective nature of this place. It's the kind of subjective perception of it from these two characters, because they don't totally know like what this is. It's just, this feels scary because we don't know what's going on. We seem to be like 2 inches tall in relation to everything else here. And it's this place and like the otherly, like it's just, these are like beings that kind of exist on a higher or at least a different dimension than we currently exist. Right. So it's like that's where the horror comes from, just from purely, I don't totally know what this is.
Yeah, just from the unknown. Yeah. And you and I have had this talk, I think recently. When all is said and done, I don't consider this one horror necessarily. I feel like the best word is just like eerie. Yeah. Because nothing is outrightly horrifying about this one. It's just like, there's some creepy vibes to it. Yeah. And that's kind of all we set out to do. In thinking back on it, we've never dived like straight into horror. It's always like, here's some creepy elements in this otherwise like I don't know, funny video.
Yeah, like it's at the very least comedic, but there's some weird shit going on. And like that's kind of like what you were just saying. Like it kind of makes it a little bit it doesn't make it horrific, but it's like you could kind of interpret it like that a little.
Right. It depending on your threshold, you know.
Yeah, and that's also kind of where the comedy comes from, because it's like why is it so scary? Like for this, like with that Cheetah Girls video, like bro, you was just watching a movie, but you was like kind of. So like, are you a ghost or like what? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's fun to play with that stuff, with that genre.
Yeah, it's really easy to dive right into horror from comedy. For some reason, it's just something about the timing.
They're so closely related.
They really are, if you think about it.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that's why it was so easy for like Jordan Peele to go to like Get Out. And
same thing with that Barbarian director who was like. He used to do comedy on YouTube, I think.
What?
I want to say he was part of The Whitest Kids You Know.
Oh, and the fucking Talk to Me guys. Yeah, because the directors of that movie, they were those, what was it, like Raka? I think that was the YouTube name for it, where like he was like that crazy dude that was dressing up like Ronald McDonald, and he was doing all these crazy stunts. When I found out that he directed that movie, or like he and his boy or his brother or whatever like directed that movie, it was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And it's also inspiring because it's like,
oh yeah,
starting from YouTube, like them, Issa Rae, David Sandberg. It's like, wow.
Right.
You know, it's like, so I look up to those guys and stuff like that. I'm just rambling.
But yeah, let's get back to it.
Let's do it.
There are two.
That's a dope shot.
The one looking up?
This one right here.
They spoke to us.
Especially with the quote in the back.
Thank you.
I loved looking at this shot in the editing room just because of how perfectly it all lined up.
Yeah.
Not because of this image, but because of how much it just lined up. The hair's messy for the character, y'all. Because it ties in with everything. This is by design.
I only remember one word.
That's a dope shot too.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Let's talk about Otherly, actually.
Let's talk about Otherly, and I also do want to talk about like just the lighting as well. But you want to go ahead with Otherly?
Yeah, because that was something that we had come up with, like what do we call these guys? Because physically they are giants, like they are just monstrously huge, but we wanted to again take it a step further than that. Like, okay, they're giants, but what are they called? What do they call themselves? Like, what kind of like place do they come from? And we wanted to come up with a word that sounds, you know, kind of like an English word, but also just kind of like a little bit off. Like maybe these people or these beings, like they have a language that is just so far from what we can comprehend that the words don't even necessarily 100% translate. So that's how we have Otherly. And the idea with that was like they told this to Jake, like they explained to him like this is kind of like what we call ourselves or just what other people call us. So this is just like the nature of what we are. And we wanted it to be like, no, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna kind of get into it a little bit from a character perspective. Like one thing, especially going forward, but also kind of retroactively that we have in this little series called Are You Okay? Is my character is kind of like more in tune with like these with the otherly, with this kind of like higher dimensional existence. And Nick's character is just normal as shit. Like I'm
just me, y'all. It's basically just me just caught up in all of this stuff. And that's why everything, as far as my character is concerned, that's why everything with him just feels kind of like, dang, he's like kind of low-key going through it a little bit. Because like, yeah, you're not really supposed to be here. You're just kind of like wrapped up. And then that's also where, again, like some of the humor comes from. And it's easy to like make stories like that.
Yeah. It's like the straight man and the funny man, or I don't remember what the other one is called, but like you're the straight man to like all this wacky shit that is going on with me or around me.
Yeah. So
like this one, going back to Do You Hear It, the previous Halloween special, like the other lead, they were like talking to me first, and you just came home from work.
Yeah.
Like you had, it was just your room. that was all the shit was happening in. And so with this, it's like we didn't include any audio from the Red Room, which was intentional. It's not like we forgot to, but like the implication there is that there was some speaking that was going on that only my character was picking up on. And that's why like he's the only one saying it. He's the only one who's kind of understanding what's been going on. And Nick's character has just been kind of caught up in it, and he was thrown into his own short film, Who Are You? His own like little pocket dimension where he's just in this endless loop. And when he was finally able to get out, that's when this story picks up.
Yeah. So with this, we were able to retroactively connect our short film, Who Are You, to this overall, I guess, universe
to this overall universe, or maybe just this overall storyline of like
That's a better one.
Yeah. Of these two dudes living together. One is like in tune with this other dimension, and the other one is just trying to chill.
Yeah. I'm really just trying to do my own thing. You know what I'm saying? Do my 9 to 5, but you know, shit happens.
Shit happens. And one thing I do just want to say, when we started filming this and we didn't expect it to go anywhere, or not go anywhere, but we didn't expect it to reach the level of quality that we ended up putting into it. We just filmed in my room. I didn't really clean up my room. And all that is to say, like, lighting really, really saved this short film for me personally. Thankfully, before we started filming, we were able to pick up 2 Amaran, I think 120Ds or something. Two of these like really nice lights to just really blow out the back, so it looks like it's just blazing hot morning, you know, or not even morning, like it's the middle of the fucking day, and everything is just like.
It looks like Jarhead, matter of fact, in there. Like, you know those scenes in Jarhead where they're out in the desert and it's just, they make it look so hot that everything is just white. Like the sand was like white, the sky was white.
Bleached.
Yeah, bleached.
Yeah. I think that really helped this look good. And, you know, moving forward, I would like to focus on production design as well as the lighting design, because like I really like the lighting that we were able to pull off for this one. Like we got some really dramatic shots pretty simply. So next, I just want to kind of take the lighting setups that we were able to achieve and then move that in with better production design, like more thought put into what is around us, like what are we doing in the frame at any given time.
You want to take that knowledge and that experience with you. Already knowing, bro.
And that is the plan for The Lost Place, our next short film. So if you're interested in any of that, go ahead and subscribe right now. That'll be coming out within the next soon.
Stay tuned, everybody. Shall we?
I think that's what they called themselves.
All right. Ooh. I think I remember something else.
Down to some scary shit.
It's all connected.
Connected? What do you mean connected?
I saw something too. Guess it doesn't matter right now.
Bro, just tell me what's up.
No.
Them pops was ADR. It sounded like he was breaking pencils up in there, man.
That is actually one thing I want to say real quick. That I think that ADR pop was the very, very last thing I did for this, because it wasn't in there for like the last final couple exports. I think I was just watching it back like the day before or 2 days before it went live. And I was just watching it and I was like, you know what? I got an idea. And Nick wasn't home at the time. I kind of just like did it without even telling you. I just threw in some, I think they were like, it was either celery snaps or just some like other back popping sound effect from YouTube. I threw that in and I exported it and I watched it back. And this film took forever to export with all the special effects. It just took way longer than usual. So when it was finally done exporting, I was watching it back, and I got to the very end to where the pops are, and they were so loud, but I just did not want to re-export it. So that's what we got.
I'm fucking weak. That's funny, man. Golly. That's what
Yeah.
that's the story behind that. I thought it was just, I mean, shit, we had to put something else up in there, man.
No, like the placement of them I liked, like where they happen.
Yeah.
When I was listening to it in DaVinci, it sounded fine. And then I export it, and it's just like fucking 2 times higher than every other sound playing at that given time.
Oh, that's funny. But you know, it kind of helps it helps lighten the mood a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it adds a little bit of levity too. So it's a very happy accident, I feel.
Yeah, and like that was one thing that Nick and I were trying to balance in that scene, because that is kind of like the breaking of tension, that little interaction between your character and my character. Mm-hmm. Because up till now it's been pretty heavy, like just pretty, mysterious, blah blah blah. So I remember originally when I walked past you after saying no, originally like I was thinking let's put some music in there or something to kind of like raise up the comedy a little bit, make it a little bit more pronounced, but it just never felt right when we did. So that's why we don't really have any sound in there right now. It's just, me walking by, just Foley. So yeah, I do think the knuckle cracks.
Them wasn't cracks, them was breaks.
the fucking bone breaks, they did kind of supplement the absence of the music, I would say.
Yeah, with that.
Yeah.
Break some bones, break some tension as well.
Anyway, what do you want to do today? Man, I'm watching Man of Steel.
A classic.
Okie dokie.
All right, to be continued.
That's right, because the story never ends.
Until we say so.
That's right, and we never say so. Anyway.
That is The Otherly. We are very proud of it. We put a lot of effort into that one. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and I hope you are all looking forward to our next short film, The Lost Place. It's currently underway. We're still filming, but if you're interested in checking it out right now, you can go ahead and click in the links in the description below to go check out some behind the scenes videos of how we were filming certain special effects scenes, just certain scenes in general. We were having fun with that one, so go check in the description below.
And for those of you who have been waiting, we appreciate your patience. We are still doing headcanons, and they'll be coming out pretty soon, so definitely stay tuned for that, as well as all of our other videos and short films as well. I've been your host, Nick the Slick Johnson, joined, of course, by
Jacob Snyder, the man who'll make your day brighter, Snyder.
Hell yes. Thank you. Thank all of you guys. Appreciate y'all so much. Looking forward to seeing y'all soon. Bye.